One decision changed Europe forever. Marshal Grouchy's hesitation at Waterloo sealed Napoleon's fate. Grouchy hesitated. He pursued a phantom Prussian army instead of marching to the sound of the guns. That delay cost Wellington his last hope. What if Napoleon had crushed Wellington and Blücher decisively? The Prussian army would have been annihilated, not just defeated. The immediate aftermath. Napoleon returns to Paris as a triumphant emperor. The capital erupts in celebration. The Bourbon monarchy is permanently exiled. The coalition fractures. Austria, Russia, and Prussia reconsider their alliance. Without British gold, their armies cannot march again. Britain's isolation. Without continental allies, Britain sues for peace. The Royal Navy still rules the waves, but cannot win a land war alone. The Treaty of Paris 1815. France retains its natural borders and gains Belgium. The Rhine becomes a French river. The Netherlands is a satellite. Napoleon's Grand Empire. From Spain to Poland, a unified Europe under French hegemony, the old Holy Roman Empire is replaced by the Confederation of the Rhine. The Congress of Vienna never happens. The old order is shattered. Metternich's balance of power is replaced by French dominance. Napoleon's reforms spread. The Napoleonic Code becomes the law of Europe. Feudalism is abolished. Meritocracy replaces aristocracy. The Holy Alliance is replaced by the continental system due and all European economies are now tied to French industry. British goods are banned. Nationalism is suppressed. The seeds of future revolutions are crushed. German and Italian unification are delayed for decades. Europe enters a long peace. Victory at Waterloo. Napoleon returns to Paris in triumph. Europe holds its breath. Monarchs from Vienna to St. Petersburg tremble. Britain's blockade backfires. Grain shipments halt. Bread prices skyrocket. Famine grips English cities. Riots erupt in London. Napoleon tightens the continental system. French factories hum. European markets drown in French goods. Economic domination begins. This is just the beginning. Subscribe to see more amazing content. Fire. In Spain, guerrilla fighters ambush French convoys. The Peninsular War drags on. Villages burn. Napoleon's grip tightens. Tsar Alexander I refuses to bow. He sees Napoleon as a tyrant. Russian nobles whisper of war. But Napoleon hesitates. Instead of invading Russia, Napoleon builds a buffer state. The Grand Duchy of Poland rises. Polish lancers drill near the border. The Ottoman Empire sees an opportunity. They sign a treaty with France. The Balkans become a French playground. Austria panics. Austria is forced into an alliance. Emperor Francis smiles in public. In private, he plots. His spies fan out across Europe. Prussia is carved up. Its army disbanded. Its lands given to French allies. Resentment festers. Revenge is sworn. The British Royal Navy rules the waves. But without allies, they cannot land troops. Britain is a fortress under siege. The Peninsular War ends in French victory. Spain becomes a puppet kingdom. King Joseph Bonaparte sits on the throne. Resistance crumbles. Europe is remade. But stability is an illusion. Beneath the surface, nationalism simmers. The seeds of future chaos are sown. Decades after Waterloo, Europe basks in an era of unprecedented stability under French hegemony. The Napoleonic Wars have ended, replaced by a continent united under the tricolor flag. The Industrial Revolution accelerates at an astonishing pace, with French engineers pioneering innovations in railways, steel production, and manufacturing that transform the continent's economic landscape. The Napoleonic Code becomes the bedrock of European jurisprudence, standardizing laws across the continent and fostering unprecedented levels of trade, commerce, and innovation between former enemies. Nationalism is systematically suppressed across Europe, with German and Italian unification delayed indefinitely. The dream of nation-states remains a forbidden concept, simmering beneath the surface of French dominance. The 1848 revolutions that swept across our timeline are crushed swiftly by French-backed monarchies. Revolutionary leaders are executed or exiled, and liberal reforms are permanently abandoned. Britain, isolated without continental allies, turns its focus outward to its vast colonial empire. India, Africa, and Canada become the primary theaters of British expansion and economic exploitation. The United States remains fiercely isolationist, refusing to entangle itself in European affairs. However, tensions simmer with France over the Louisiana Territory, which remains a contested border region. The Crimean War that devastated our timeline never happens. Instead, the Ottoman Empire survives under French protection, becoming a buffer state between Europe and the Middle East. The scramble for Africa is led by France, not Britain. French explorers and military forces establish colonies across the continent, exploiting resources and establishing plantations that enrich the French crown. The 20th century unfolds without the catastrophic destruction of World War I. European cities remain intact, their magnificent architecture untouched by artillery fire. A century of peace transforms the continent under French guidance. Napoleon's dynasty endures through the ages. Napoleon IV rules a constitutional empire, balancing power between the throne and parliament. The imperial family remains symbols of unity across the continent. The European Union emerges a century early, born from French diplomatic brilliance. Member states surrender sovereignty willingly, bound by economic prosperity and military protection. Brussels becomes the continent's capital of cooperation. Germany remains fragmented, a collection of individual states never unified under Bismarck. Prussia is diminished, its ambitions crushed after Waterloo. The German Confederation persists as a French economic dependency. The Russian Revolution never ignites as in our timeline. Tsar Nicholas II modernizes with French loans and technical expertise. The Romanov dynasty evolves into a constitutional monarchy, maintaining Russian independence while aligning with Paris. The American century faces unexpected competition. The United States expands westward but encounters French influence in North America. Louisiana remains a French territory, creating a permanent geopolitical challenge to American dominance. French technological leadership transforms the world. Aviation pioneers like Louis Blériot achieve unprecedented milestones. Cinema flourishes under French direction, with Paris becoming the global center of filmmaking and artistic innovation. Decolonization proceeds peacefully across Africa and Asia. France grants autonomy gradually to its colonies, maintaining economic partnerships. The French Empire evolves into a commonwealth of nations bound by shared interests and cultural ties. Hi everyone! Quick reminder, subscribe for high-quality daily content. Sparkle's next episode. A plot twist you won't expect. Subscribe now. Face screaming in fear.